At 89, Jack Nicholson finally speaks up about Meryl Streep. I wasn't expecting Jack Nicholson's most honest words about Meryl Streep to come this late in his life. After decades of interviews, awards, and unforgettable performances, I assumed we'd already heard everything worth hearing. Turns out, the most meaningful thing he ever said about her wasn't meant for the spotlight at all. When people think about Jack Nicholson, they usually picture the grin, the sunglasses, the Lakers' courtside seat, or maybe one of those larger-than-life characters that seemed impossible for anyone else to play. But I've always felt there was another Jack hiding underneath all that confidence. The older he became, the easier it was to see. And strangely enough, Meryl Streep became part of that story, not because they shared some secret romance, not because of a Hollywood feud, but because she earned something Jack rarely gave anyone: his complete respect. Here's what's funny. Two of the greatest actors in American history barely worked together. You'd think Hollywood would have paired them over and over again. Instead, just two films. That's it. And then years of silence. I actually had to double-check that because it didn't seem possible. Long before either of those movies happened, Jack's own life already felt like something out of a screenplay. He grew up believing the woman raising him was his mother. She wasn't. She was actually his grandmother. His real mother had been introduced as his older sister. Imagine learning the truth decades later, after you've already become famous. I honestly can't imagine how that would reshape your understanding of your own life. Maybe that's why so many of Jack's performances carried that feeling that something underneath was always unsettled. Hollywood wasn't waiting for him either. His first screen test went nowhere. He spent years making tiny films that disappeared almost as quickly as they arrived. Cheap horror movies, low-budget westerns. Anything that kept him working. There had to be moments when he wondered whether this dream was worth chasing. Then came Easy Rider. 17 minutes. That's all he needed. One unforgettable performance changed everything. Sometimes careers don't turn on years. Sometimes they turn on one scene. The 1970s became Jack Nicholson's decade. 5 Easy Pieces, Chinatown, One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. Every few years he seemed to reinvent what leading men could look like. He wasn't polished. He wasn't traditionally handsome. He felt unpredictable, like anything could happen once the camera started rolling. That's what audiences loved. And honestly, other actors probably wondered how he kept pulling it off. Meanwhile, somewhere else in Hollywood, Meryl Streep was building her reputation in almost the opposite way. Watching old interviews, I realized how different they were. Jack trusted instinct. Meryl trusted preparation. He liked discovering a scene while filming it. She built characters piece by piece before cameras ever rolled. Neither approach was wrong. They simply came from different worlds. That's exactly why What Happened Next fascinates me. In 1986, they finally stood across from each other. The movie was heartburn. The production itself already carried emotional baggage. The story came from Nora Ephron's painful divorce. Real heartbreak had become a Hollywood screenplay. Jack joined the cast after another actor stepped away. Suddenly, he found himself opposite Meryl Streep. On paper, they should have been perfect. Critics weren't convinced the movie itself worked. But many noticed something else. The actors did. Even in scenes where the script stumbled, Jack and Meryl somehow found moments that felt completely genuine. There's something beautiful about that. Sometimes great actors rescue scenes that shouldn't work. Then, almost immediately, they went separate ways again. One film, done, until another opportunity arrived. Ironweed. Very different, smaller, darker. No glamorous romance, no flashy Hollywood spectacle. Just two damaged people trying to survive. Both Jack and Meryl earned Academy Award nominations. Neither won. Oddly enough, losing almost feels appropriate. That movie was never about trophies. It was about honesty. After that, silence. For more than 30 years. No endless stories and interviews. No dramatic headlines. No constant praise. That surprised me. Most celebrities love talking about famous co-stars. Jack almost never did. Then I realized, maybe that was the point. He didn't hand out compliments because reporters expected them. He saved them. People often remember Jack for his wild reputation. The parties. The romances. The rebellious image. Those stories filled magazines for decades. But as he grew older, another side slowly appeared. He talked openly about heartbreak, about fatherhood, about growing older, about realizing success doesn't solve loneliness. Those moments feel much more interesting to me than any tabloid headline ever did. His career kept growing anyway. A Few Good Men. As Good as It Gets. About Schmidt. The Departed. Even late in life, he could still surprise audiences. Then, almost without warning, he walked away. No farewell tour. No dramatic retirement announcement. He simply stopped making movies.